Excluded from my sister's wedding, I went on vacation. When the wedding fell apart, I'm writing this because a few people told me I should. I'm older, not dramatic by nature, and I don't enjoy family drama. But what happened last year changed how I see blood, loyalty, and silence. This is long. I'm not rushing it. I want it written clearly and honestly. I'm a man in my late 50s. I live in Toledo, Ohio. I worked most of my life, raised my kids, paid my bills, and stayed out of trouble. I'm not flashy. I don't post much online. I mind my business. I have one sibling, a younger sister named Maribel. Growing up, she was always louder than me, quicker to anger, quicker to charm. Our parents leaned toward her. I learned early to be the steady one, the helper, the one who keeps things together. That role never really went away. After our father passed in 2015 and our mother in 2019, it became mostly just us. Holidays felt thinner. Louder too because Maribel filled silence with noise. I let her, it was easier. Then she met Derek. She met him in Columbus, Ohio. Sales job, nice car he didn't really own. Talked about big deals that never seemed to close. He smiled a lot. The kind of smile that feels practiced. From the start, something felt off. Not dangerous, just hollow, like a man built out of borrowed parts. Maribel fell hard. Fast, within a year, they were engaged. She called me crying when he proposed. Said she finally felt chosen. That word stuck with me. Chosen. The wedding plans started right away. Destination wedding in Savannah, Georgia. Historic hotel, old brick streets, Spanish moss. She wanted elegance. She wanted people to be impressed. I listened. I nodded. I didn't argue. Then she asked me to help pay. I told her the truth. I'm retired. I have a fixed income. I can help a little but not thousands. I said it calmly. No judgment, no lecture. Her tone shifted. She said she understood, but she didn't sound like she did. That was when things slowly changed. Messages stopped coming. Family group chats went quiet for me. I'd hear about plans after they happened. I asked about suit fittings and was told they already handled it. I asked about rehearsal dinner and was told they were keeping it tight. At first, I brushed it off. Wedding stress makes people strange. But then came the call. It was a Tuesday evening. I was sitting in my kitchen eating leftovers. My phone rang. It was Maribel. Her voice was soft, controlled, too controlled. She said, "Calvin, I need to talk to you about something difficult." I said, "Okay." She took a breath and said it would be better if I didn't attend the wedding. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it didn't make sense. I asked her to repeat it. She did. She said Derek felt I was unsupportive. She said my presence might cause tension. She said they were trying to keep the day clean and positive. I asked her what I did. She paused, long pause, then she said, "You never really approved of Derek." That was it. No yelling, no fight, just removal. I told her I understood. I didn't, but I said it anyway. I hung up and sat there for a long time. The house felt very quiet. I didn't cry. I felt small, like I had been erased with a sentence. A few days passed. I kept replaying the call in my head. Every moment I helped her over the years. Every time I showed up when others didn't, I realized something uncomfortable. I was useful until I wasn't. So I did something out of character. I booked a vacation. I chose Sedona, Arizona. I had always wanted to see the red rocks. I wanted quiet. I wanted space where no one needed anything from me. The dates lined up exactly with the wedding weekend. I didn't tell anyone. I packed my bag and left. Sedona was calm. Mornings were cool, evenings quiet. I walked trails near Oak Creek. I sat outside with coffee and watched the light change on the rocks. For the first time since my parents passed, I felt like I could breathe without being needed. On the second day, my phone started lighting up. Missed calls, texts, names I hadn't heard from in months. I ignored them. Then a voicemail came through from my cousin Rita in Dayton. Her voice was frantic. "Calvin, something is wrong. The wedding is falling apart. No one knows where Derek is. Maribel is losing it. Please call me." That was when I knew something serious had happened. Over the next few hours, the story came together in pieces. The caterer never showed. Payment wasn't finalized. The wedding planner walked out after being screamed at in the hotel lobby. The ballroom was double booked. Another event was already set up. Guests were standing around in formal clothes with nowhere to go. Maribel threw a glass vase in anger. It shattered near people's feet. Hotel security called the police. Then Derek disappeared. No calls. No texts. Someone found him at a bar near Forsyth Park. He wasn't alone. He was with a woman who turned out to be his legal wife, still married, not separated. Fully married in Indiana. There was no marriage license for Maribel because one couldn't exist. The wedding was never real. By the time Maribel finally called me, I already knew enough. She was sobbing, barely breathing between words. She asked where I was. I told her. She screamed that I abandoned her. I reminded her I wasn't invited. There was silence on the line. Then she whispered, I messed up. I stayed in Sedona. I didn't rush home. I didn't post photos. I didn't brag. Back in Ohio, everything burned. Money lost, guests angry, family embarrassed. Derek vanished. When Maribel came home, she was alone. And now, months later, people are still choosing sides, rewriting history, and pretending they didn't watch me get cut out first. When I came back to Toledo, the house felt different. Same walls, same couch, but something had shifted. Once people know you can be cut out, they look at you differently, like you are optional. For the first week, I stayed quiet. I didn't reach out, I didn't explain myself. I went to the grocery store, I took walks. I lived my normal life. Then the calls started again, not to check on me. Not to apologize, they wanted things. Maribel needed help talking to a lawyer. Someone suggested I might know how to handle paperwork. Another cousin asked if I could loan Maribel some money to cover deposits she lost. A different relative hinted that since I didn't spend money going to the wedding, maybe I could help now. That was when anger finally showed up. I said no to all of it. People didn't like that. I started hearing things through the family grapevine, that I was cold, that I was holding a grudge, that I ran away when things got hard. No one mentioned that I was pushed out first. A few weeks later, Maribel showed up at my door without calling. It was early evening. I opened the door and barely recognized her. She looked worn down, hair pulled back tight. Eyes swollen. She walked in like she owned the place the way she always had. She didn't apologize right away. She talked around it. She said Derek had manipulated her. She said she ignored signs. She said stress made her act badly. Then she said something that stopped me cold. She said, "You should have warned me harder." I asked her what she meant. She said I should have pushed back more. That I should have fought harder to stop the wedding. That if I really cared, I wouldn't have stayed quiet. So now it was my fault too. I told her I wasn't responsible for her choices. I reminded her she told me not to come. She waved it off like it was nothing. Then she asked if she could stay with me for a while. That was the moment everything became clear. I said no. She stared at me like I slapped her. She said family doesn't abandon family. I told her family doesn't erase family either. She left angry, slammed the door. Later that night, I got texts from relatives saying I was heartless. A week after that, another twist hit. I got a letter in the mail from a law office in Columbus. It was about my mother's estate. Years earlier, when Mom was sick, I helped handle paperwork. Nothing fancy, just keeping things organized. After she passed, everything was split evenly, or so I thought. The letter said Maribel was contesting something. She claimed I pressured Mom into changes, that I controlled access, that I influenced decisions. None of it was true, but it didn't matter. Once accusations are written down, they live on paper. I called the lawyer. He said Maribel was emotional and desperate. He said these things happen. I asked him if Derek was involved. There was a pause. He said Derek's name came up more than once. That sent a chill through me. Then, like a bad movie refusing to end, Derek resurfaced. Someone spotted him in Michigan. Someone else said he contacted Maribel asking for money. Another rumor said he threatened to sue her for emotional damages. Maribel called me again, this time calmer, careful. She asked if I had heard from Derek. I said no. She asked if I still had copies of Mom's old documents. I asked why. She said she just wanted to make sure everything was fair. Nothing about this felt fair. Then something else happened. A cousin sent me screenshots. Maribel had been posting online, long posts, vague but pointed, talking about betrayal, talking about being abandoned by the people who should protect you most. People commented with sympathy. Some mentioned me by name. I realized she was rewriting the story in real time, and I was being painted as the villain. I didn't respond. I saved everything, because I've learned something late in life. When people start changing the story, it's because they know the truth won't hold up much longer. Things didn't calm down, they tightened. Like a rope being pulled slow so no one notices until it hurts. A few days after I got the letter from the lawyer, I received another message. This one wasn't from family. It was from a woman named Paula. I didn't know her. She said she found my name through old emails on Derek's laptop. She asked if we could talk. I didn't reply right away. I sat with it. Then I said yes. We talked on the phone that night. Paula lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She spoke carefully like she had practiced the words. She told me she was Derek's wife, still legally married. She said she didn't know about Maribel until weeks before the wedding. She said Derek told her Maribel was unstable and that he was trying to get away safely. I felt my jaw tighten. Paula said something else that changed everything. She said Derek mentioned me often, said I was the obstacle, said I controlled family money. Said if I turned against him, things would get complicated. I asked her what she meant. She said Derek planned to blame me if the wedding fell apart. That explained a lot. After that call, I went back through old messages, old emails, old texts. I noticed patterns I ignored before. Derek always pushing Marable to cut people off, always framing it as us against them. I realized he didn't just lie to Marable, he built walls around her. A few days later, Marable stopped calling. At first, I thought that was good. Then I heard why. She had moved back to Columbus temporarily, staying with a friend. She told people she needed space from toxic family members. I was the only one named. Then another hit came. My bank called. They flagged a strange inquiry on one of my accounts. Someone tried to get information, not access, just information. The caller claimed to be family. I shut that down fast. I changed passwords. I froze things. I felt sick doing it, but I had to. Later that week, I found out Marable had told a cousin that I was hiding money, that I had always been controlling, that I was jealous of her happiness. Jealous. That word hurt more than the others. Then came the real twist. The lawyer called me back. He sounded different this time, more serious. He said Marable's claim wasn't just emotional, it was detailed, dates, conversations, accusations that suggested planning. I asked him straight if Derek helped write it. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "It appears someone coached her." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how easily stories change when the loudest voice keeps talking. A few days later, I got an envelope with no return address. Inside were copies of documents, bank statements, old emails, some real, some altered. Someone was building a case. I recognized Derek's style, the selective truth, the small twists. I realized then that this wasn't just family drama anymore. This was damage control for people who didn't want the full truth out. And the worst part? Marable still hadn't admitted what she did to me before the wedding. Not once. She was acting like the exclusion never happened, like I should just absorb the fallout quietly. That was when I understood something painful. The wedding falling apart wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something much uglier. I stopped waiting for things to fix themselves. I hired my own lawyer, quietly. I didn't announce it. I didn't threaten anyone. I just protected myself. That alone made some people nervous. My lawyer asked me one simple question. "Do you want peace or do you want the truth on record?" I told him the truth, even if it hurt. We started organizing everything. Phone records, messages, bank logs, screenshots from family chats. Dates lined up in a way I didn't expect. Derek didn't just lie, he planned, and Marable didn't just follow. She participated. Then the lawyer found something big. When Mom was sick, Marable had asked me to help manage bills because she couldn't handle it emotionally. I did. I documented everything. That saved me. But buried in old emails was something else. Marable had tried to change beneficiary details after Mom's mental health evaluation, using Derek's advice. The attempt failed, but the intent was clear. That document destroyed her claim. When her lawyer saw it, everything shifted. Suddenly, Marable wanted to talk things out. She showed up again, this time crying hard, real panic. She said Derek convinced her I was stealing from her, said he fed her stories, said she believed him because she wanted to believe him. I asked her one question. "Why didn't you come to me before cutting me out?" She didn't answer. That was my answer. Then Derek made his final mistake. He contacted my lawyer directly, threatened to expose family secrets, claimed emotional damage, claimed lost income. My lawyer let him talk, then sent everything to Paula's lawyer in Indiana. Turns out Derek had a pattern, other women, other lies. Financial manipulation, pending charges. Within weeks, Derek was served papers from multiple directions. His threats stopped. His name vanished from conversations. Marable's case collapsed, but the damage was done. Family gatherings became quiet. People avoided eye contact. Some apologized, some didn't. Marable lost friends, lost money, lost trust, and me, I lost something too. I lost the idea that staying quiet keeps peace. I realized my mistake was being passive for too long, letting people rewrite my role, letting kindness look like weakness. The final blow came months later. Marable tried to invite me to Thanksgiving like nothing happened. I declined. She cried. I stayed calm. I told her I loved her, but I no longer trusted her. That broke her more than yelling ever could. I spent Thanksgiving alone, and it was peaceful. Here's the truth that hurts the most. The wedding didn't fall apart because of Derek alone. It fell apart because of choices. Hers, mine, everyone's. She chose a lie over family. I chose silence over confrontation. And silence let the lie grow. Now the truth sits where it belongs, and no one can escape it anymore.